We're going to explore this invisible universe together, breaking down the unseen mechanical structures of literally everything, from your morning coffee to the very device you're watching this on.
Section 1. Everyday Tech and Tools.
Let's start with your phone. When we look at a mobile screen with a naked eye, we just see these perfectly smooth, continuous digital images, right? But check out the microscope view. That smooth illusion is totally broken. Those perfect pictures are actually just thousands upon thousands of tiny red, green, and blue colored blocks, RGB pixels. It is absolutely fascinating to realize that our phones are basically just massive optical illusions. They rely on these tiny, distinct blocks all working together just to trick our eyes into seeing a flawless, unified display.
And if we move even deeper into our tech, we find the transistor. These are the microscopic components that essentially act as the brains of our processors. When you zoom way in on a tiny piece of a processor at this ultra level, these transistors actually just look like tiny uniform holes. It's crazy to think about the incredible microscopic scale of modern computing technology that's just hidden right inside our devices.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale. It's mind-bending. We aren't just talking about a few thousand of those tiny holes. A premium smartphone processor packs an astounding 5.5 billion transistors into one tiny chip. 5.5 billion. To put that into perspective, a standard Intel i7 processor contains about 2.16 billion. It really highlights exactly why so few countries in the world actually have the capability to manufacture technology at this unimaginably small level.
But hey, it's not just high-tech electronics. Consider the mechanics of simple, everyday tools, like a ball pen. It gets its name because, at the microscopic level, there is a literal, tiny sphere continuously spinning at the tip to smoothly transfer ink to the page. And you know that super satisfying ripping sound of Velcro? It's literally just a miniature mechanical system of tiny hooks, firmly locking into separate tiny loops. How about a shaving blade? What feels like perfectly smooth metal actually reveals deep, rough canyons of wear and tear after you use it. And a standard metal coin. Under a microscope, its smooth surface totally transforms into this uneven, dramatic landscape that looks exactly like a mountain range or a deep canyon.
Section 2. Food and household items.
All right, let's head into the kitchen. Everyday staples look completely different when you strip away their macro appearance. Sugar isn't just sweet powder. Microscopically, it consists of incredibly shiny cubes with perfect geometric shapes, almost as if they were carefully carved by hand. Salt reveals these distinct, sharp, almost aggressive crystal structures. And perhaps the most beautiful one of all is espresso coffee. A single crystal of espresso coffee under a microscope looks like a surprisingly beautiful, glowing golden gemstone.
Now think about your morning routine, because you might never look at it the same way again. Toothbrush bristles are definitely not the smooth, polished cylinders they appear to be. Under a microscope, they honestly look like rough, uneven logs. And those little bits of debris you see clinging to them? Yeah, that's leftover toothpaste. But here's the amazing part. Toothpaste isn't just a smooth paste. It's actually packed with tiny granules that function as microscopic scrubbers to physically scrape the plaque right off your teeth.
Honestly, nothing in our homes is as simple as it appears. Let's rapidly run through some of these hidden household surprises. Fresh chewing gum looks like a smooth sheet, right? But once chewed, it turns into this chaotic landscape of sticky, uneven bubbles. Paper is actually a vast, tangled web of tiny fibers that give it strength. And if it's recycled paper, you'll see tiny impurities trapped right in that web. Cooking oil, which just looks like a clear liquid to us, is actually a microscopic universe of floating droplets of all different sizes. Household dust transforms from simple gray fluff into a super complex landscape of distinct particles. And the chalk we use on a blackboard, it operates using extremely fine, rough particles that break off to create that perfectly smooth writing surface we're used to.
Section 3. Inside the human body.
You know, biology is surprisingly mechanical at the microscopic level. Take tongues, for example. They seem soft and smooth, right? But human taste buds actually look like tiny, fleshy thorns. A tiger's tongue is covered in massive, rough projections specifically designed to pull meat straight from the bone. Even your house cat's tongue is covered in tiny, specialized spikes that help them latch onto food and meticulously clean their fur. So the crucial point is, these seemingly soft tongues are actually covered in highly specialized spikes and mechanical thorns.
We also have our own unique identifiers, our fingerprints. The normal view just looks like simple looping ink-like lines.
But the microscope view shows the real story. It's an incredibly complex 3D maze of tall ridges and deep valleys. And if you zoom in even closer, you can actually see tiny individual sweat droplets gathering right along the peaks of those ridges.
Let's summarize a few more astounding biological realities. If you zoom into blood at 400 times magnification, it completely stops being a red liquid. You clearly see red disc-like cells, white cells fighting germs, and even tiny bacteria floating around in the plasma. A single strand of human hair reveals overlapping, shiny protective scales. And depending on the person, the hair's cross-section might be perfectly round, flat, or oval. Our teeth, which feels so smooth to the tongue, are covered in microscopic pits and grooves that make them incredibly durable for cutting. And, well, if you've ever wondered why kidney stones are so intensely agonizing, the microscopic view reveals the answer. They are composed of incredibly sharp, jagged, knife-like minerals.
Section 4. Nature's Microscopic Masterpieces. Moving out into the natural world, one of our sources beautifully describes a peacock feather under a microscope like this. Like someone lovingly crafted a masterpiece with shiny blue, green, and golden strands. I mean, it perfectly captures the brilliant, intentional-looking design hidden within a simple feather. The color doesn't just sit on the surface, it's literally woven into the very structure of the strands themselves. And every green leaf we pass by holds this invisible, life-sustaining secret, stomata. These are tiny pores on the surface of a leaf, and under a microscope they resemble this vast, sprawling network. These little openings are literally how the plant breathes, exchanging gases with the world around it. They are completely invisible to our naked eyes, yet absolutely essential for life on Earth.
As you can see, nature operates on these mathematically beautiful rules. The sand you walk on at the beach? It's not just brown grit. Microscopically, it is a stunning collection of tiny, colorful gemstones, fragmented shells, and distinct minerals. Ice transforms from a solid block into unique, intricate geometric snowflakes and hexagons. A fly's eye is a dome of perfect hexagonal cells that actually grant the insect slow-motion vision, which explains why they're so ridiculously hard to catch. And a spider web reveals detailed, highly resilient structural threads that showcase the spider's absolute mastery of microscopic engineering. But hey, nature isn't all beautiful geometry. It also has teeth. We usually view a splinter or a bee sting as just an everyday nuisance. But consider the microscopic reality for a second. A bee stinger isn't a smooth needle. It is a fearsome, barbed arrow perfectly designed to snag and stick firmly in your skin. And that tiny thorn or splinter caught in your hand? Under magnification, it looks like a giant, jagged, wild stick violently embedded under your flesh. Nature definitely designs its weapons well.
Section 5. The ultimate building blocks. Let's move to and see how this built.
Here we have the hydrogen atom. It is the smallest and simplest atom in existence, featuring a nucleus surrounded by tiny orbiting electrons. This microscopic structure is the very base from which molecules are formed. So, absolutely everything we've explored today, the RGB pixels, the coffee crystals, the spider webs, the blood cells, it is all built from these ultimate microscopic foundations.
As we wrap up this explainer, consider these final microscopic revelations. A single, pure-looking drop of water actually teems with a whole universe of invisible bacteria. And when you pluck a guitar string, creating those beautiful musical waves, the microscope shows you aren't just plucking a thin wire. You're actually vibrating a massive, textured, mechanical cable. From the water we drink to the music we hear, our entire macro world relies completely on this hidden realm.
So, I leave you with this final thought. Next time you touch a coin, pick up a leaf, or just tap your phone screen, will you feel the smooth illusion? Or will you picture the complex, beautiful, and hidden universe resting right beneath your fingertips? Thank you so much for joining me today, Focus Learners. Keep learning, keep